I was trying so hard to seem nonchalant, but she was on to me. When I'd casually approached our housekeeper, Maria, asked her to teach me how to cook in the local style, she responded at length. She wasn't exactly a chatter. What was she thinking? I could never tell. That made me queasy. See, in my family, I'm the one who gets to conceal my feelings. I count on the others to keep the wheels greased. With Maria, her face was like a mirror, reflecting my question right back at me. Why was I asking her for cooking lessons? Recipes? I could have downloaded 20 versions of chilaquiles con charales y chapulines, if that were it. No. Technique? The cooking schools of Morelia were an hour's bus ride away. No, I was looking for something more típico. Not that I was thinking of going native. I knew who I was, an American spending a year in a small Mexican town. No, this project was more ambitious than just going native. This was a quest for the authentic. I'd naively begun the quest through the direct approach, apprenticing myself to village craftspeople, mastering Purépecha and a couple of other pre-Columbian languages, converting to Catholicism. But I was just skimming the surface. I needed a way to drill down into the cultural data to get at the core truths hidden from those hordes of culture-bagging eco-tourists. No. My quest would be led not by rough guides or smooth talkers. No, I would pursue my quest under the tutelage of real people, like Maria. She spoke no English, outside the tourist orbit. She lived in the country, walked into town every day. She would be my guide through the looking glass into everyday life, my persona típica. Yes, Maria, who had yet to answer my request for cooking lessons. ¿Cuál platillo? What dish? I guess she's decided to do it. There could be only one answer. Mole. Mole. Straight from the source, from the Nahuatl word for sauce. From a simpler time before the Rococo excesses of Huachinango a la Veracruzana or Cuitlacoche and Escabeche. Mole. Is not mole the quintessential Mexican national dish? Let me turn that question around. What's the quintessential American national dish? Exactly, and that's the problem with the quest for the authentic. We seek the distilled essence from other cultures, but turn the spotlight on us? The question itself is insulting. We're complex, cosmopolitan, but put me in Mexico. I want the primitive, the simple, the pure, the virginal essence, still protected from the throbbing member that is American culture. To the market, the morning of my first lesson. What a list Maria had given me. Tomatillos, cebollitas, chocolate, and the chiles, guajillos, negros, mulatos. Life was grand. The quest was underway. Everything was so real. The last stop was for chicken at a little stand Maria had recommended to me called La Fe, or Faith. What better name for a place to buy a chicken that's been sitting out all day? Back home, the buzzer rings. Yes, it's Maria. Buenas tardes. She walks straight to the kitchen, ignores my offer for help, and gets right to work. I don't want to miss any of this. Okay, she's filling a pot with water, puts it on the stove, turns on the burner with her left hand, Slides a chicken in, half an onion. Oh, no. Which half had she put in? The quest yields its secrets only grudgingly. The truth might be hidden in the most mundane of details. Maria looks up. ¿Y los chiles? Hey, no problema. I'd steeped them, seeded them, stemmed them, as instructed, entirely in Spanish. Maria pokes my chiles skeptically. The blackening tomatillos are filling the kitchen with their tangy smoke. I take a look over at the chicken. 10 minutes at a full boil. I move to turn it down. But Maria has other plans. Okay, I go over and poke the chiles a little bit, trying to look busy. They look pretty good to me. She looks up. ¿Tiene Suiza? Suiza. What the heck? Do I have something Swiss? Someone Swiss? Or has she said suicida? Is there someone suicidal in the house? I don't remember that from the cookbook. She brushes by her worthless sous chef, scans the shelves. Yeah, mira. What's that? It's a jar of chicken bouillon cubes. She's pointing at the trademark, Suiza, la marca de calidad, next to the Swiss multinational logo of Knorr. That stuff is all MSG and salt. She's turning the tomatillos and unwrapping a few cubes of the Suiza. I sneak a look back at the chicken. 30 minutes and counting in the froth. ¿Listo? Should I turn it down? Todavía no. Hey, commitment to the quest comes first. This could be some pre-Columbian method. Hey. Maria wrapped up the mole in a blur. Chiles in the blender, the blackened vegetables, the chocolate, a dozen sabrosas, the Mexican version of a Ritz cracker. Blend it, heat it, sieve it. 1 o'clock and we were done. Maria put her coat on, pointed at the pot. ¿Quiere probarlo? Try it? Why not? The mole was spectacular. Spicy, sweet, smoky, and so complex. I looked up to share the moment with her, but she was buttoning her coat. Didn't she realize that she just made a world-class mole? And the chicken? I didn't dare taste it. Even if I soaked it in the mole the rest of the afternoon, it was gone and it wasn't coming back. Well, nothing was going according to plan here. A blender instead of the molcajete? Suiza? Ritz crackers? Had some spores of monopoly capitalism infected my experiment with the authentic? And the whole thing had taken less than an hour. The only time I'd made mole from scratch in San Francisco, it'd taken me the better part of a day just to find the 50-plus ingredients called for in my cookbook, literally entitled Authentic Mexican Cuisine, which raised the question, which mole was más típico? And could I even tell the difference? How do you recognize the authentic without an unconscious model of it somewhere in the back of your mind? In which case, are not you, rather than your persona típica, in control, setting the benchmarks for the authentic? I had to get out of this cul-de-sac. Note to self, is there a Spanish word for that? Next week, I'd have to bump it up to a whole other level. Something so typical, so authentic, that I'd never seen it or tasted it, and it isn't even served in restaurants. Yes. But what would that be? No. Yes, yes, yes! Churipo. Churipo. It was a traditional purépecha Indian dish, only rumored to exist. I'd seen it mentioned on a Mesoamerican rural legends website. And they had called it the quintessential Indian dish of Michoacan. And no chicken. I asked Maria, could she cook it next week? Bueno. Es un platillo tradicional de los purépechas, ¿sí? No sé. Well, its Indian origins were news to her, or was she deflecting the question? I was pretty sure she had more than a bit of recent Indian blood in her, but not everyone in Mexico would be proud of that. See, the authentic is usually more exotic from afar. Anyway, I had a week, and if churipo was going to achieve its authentic potential, I had to give it a little breathing room. So I channeled the quest into this research project I'd backburnered. Did the Purépecha proto-god Ukumu, lord of Cumichucuaro, the underworld, prefigure those little clay devil figures I've been collecting from the village of Okumichu? Boy, did that week fly by. Yeah. Wednesday came. I barely took notes as Maria threw together the churipo. Beef, corn, winter vegetables, roots, all stewed in a tomato chili base. When she was done, she again pointed at the pot. ¿Quiere probarlo? Well, yeah. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting, because I'd made sure I wasn't expecting anything. The beef was tough, the vegetables were mushy, the roots were pasty, and that layer of grease. No way was this quintessential, let alone quest material. And yet, it was authentic to the local culture. And it couldn't have been any more primitive, simple, pure if it had been whipped up by the Virgin Guadalupe herself. Jeez, what was going on here? I didn't know what to do. In fact, I'm lost right now. Anyway, it couldn't have been any more authentic. You know, I am lost. Maya, where am I? Okay. It couldn't have been any more authentic. No. Well, anyway. I made sure I was guided through an authentic experience free of any preconceptions. And the result? Too authentic? Maria was standing by the doorway, noting silently my disappointment. Así lo hago para mi familia. And she left. What the hell was I doing? To her, it was just an everyday beef stew made from cheap ingredients that she cooked up for her family now and then. She had an authentic culture. She didn't need a quest. What was I searching for? Well, I diverted the quest over the next couple of weeks into a pilgrimage to the town of San Juan Parangari Kutiri Micuaro, known to the locals briefly as Parangari Kutiri Micuaro. I was searching for the roots of the traditional purépecha falsetto duet song form, the pirecua. Dead end. Now, Maria and I continued to meet in the kitchen on Wednesdays, working through the basics of Mexican cuisine. Enchiladas, sopas, chiles rellenos, the occasional chicken dish. What little conversation we had was limited to cooking technique. My return to San Francisco loomed, and the day of my last lesson arrived. One final trip through the market. 3 or 4 dulcet oranges. A half kilo of sumptuous tomatoes. 3 pesos of luscious chiles perrones. What a waste of succulence! For months I'd watched as Maria had overbaked, overboiled, overstewed chicken after chicken. I would do something to save this one, quest or no quest. Back in the kitchen, I gingerly slide the chicken into a pot of water. Maria had instructed me to thoroughly boil the chicken before her arrival. I let it bob for a minute or two. I pull out a piece. Nicely white on the outside. A little wobbly, but should do the trick. I carefully arrange the pieces on a plate, exactly the way 45-minute chicken would look. Bzz. Oh, shit, it's Maria. Buenas tardes. She makes a beeline for the kitchen and stops right in front of my chicken. Mira, el pollo. I tell her I've cooked it for 45 minutos, como usted me dijo. Somehow it didn't feel like lying. I mean, I was using a second language. At my level of Spanish, every sentence is a conscious invention, as intentional as a well-constructed lie. The truth flows mellifluously like a native language, but lies are built, brick by brick, word by word. Maria looks at the chicken. She glances up at me for a moment and back to the chicken. Why is she avoiding my eyes? Oh, God, she's seen through me. What an idiot. It's not just a pathetic deception. I put her in an impossible bind. This isn't some game, quest for el Pollo Típico. This is real life. It's her real job. I'm her real boss. She's not going to call my bluff, expose me as a liar. Real people have real feelings, real places in social hierarchies. And somehow I'd missed that in my search for the ideal. So there we stand in my kitchen. Finally, Maria breaks the silence. La piel necesita estar más crujiente. Vamos a freírlo. She's found a way out. Crisp the skin, fry it a little. Although neither of us will acknowledge it, I'm ready to follow her lead right to the end. I pour a little oil to cover the pan. I grab the plate of chicken. Mas. I pour a few more drops. She grabs the jar from me, pours in an inch of oil, cranks the flame to high, and drops in my pobre pollito. Well, looking back on what followed, it would give me great pleasure to relate to you how we circled in closer and closer until that authentic truth I'd been seeking was revealed through the perfect chicken. But the truth is, she just fried the shit out of it. I dutifully took notes as we finished the salsa naranja, the oranges, tomillo, mejorana, the chiles perrones, but I was only going through the motions. My chicken, its flavor, texture, and any remaining self-respect fried away over the 45 minutes it took us to complete the sauce. When we were done, Maria, for the final time, pointed to the pot. ¿Quiere probarlo? Yeah, sure. The hell. The salsa naranja was spectacular. Tart, picante, succulent, and so complex, yet so simple, so pure. I looked up, and this time Maria was waiting for me. She locked our eyes. What was she trying to say? Now you know, I cooked the chicken well for your health. Or maybe you trusted me and we did it. Or was it just, don't ever do this to me again? Well, whatever it was, she couldn't or wouldn't say it, but she sure wanted me to remember it. But what if it wasn't a message? What if it were more of a dare? I reached down. I broke off a piece of chicken. It was totalmente típico, purely Maria. Dry as a mummy, tough, unyielding, and absolutely authentic.